A coding agent can save 4 hours and destroy next week in the same command. The difference is rarely a more emotional system prompt. It is control. Here are 5 Claude Code controls that turn a powerful terminal agent into a workflow you can trust. Repository instructions, scoped permissions, checkpoints, isolated parallel work, and executable verification. We will use one task to test all 5. The job is to migrate an application from an old authentication client to a new one across the web app, API, and worker. Control 1 is repository instructions. Before the agent edits anything, the repository should explain how this project works. Name the build commands, test commands, generated directories, ownership boundaries, security rules, and the definition of done. Keep instructions concrete. Do say, never edit generated clients directly. Run the generator from this command. Do not say. Write excellent code with best practices. The agent already wanted to feel inspired. For our migration, instructions identify the 3 packages, the shared authentication contract, and the test suites that protect session refresh and logout behavior. The use case is context that survives beyond one prompt. The observable example is the agent reading the instruction file, then excluding the generated client from manual edits. The limitation is staleness. A wrong instruction can reliably produce wrong work. The decision: add repository guidance when rules are stable, testable, and important enough that every contributor should follow them. Control 2 is scoped permissions. Claude Code needs tools to inspect and verify the repository. That does not mean every command deserves automatic approval. Allow routine reads, searches, formatting, and safe tests inside the workspace. Require approval for network access, secrets, package publishing, infrastructure changes, destructive commands, or writes outside the assigned scope. For the migration, the agent may edit the 3 packages and run their tests. It may not rotate production credentials or deploy the change. The use case is limiting consequences while preserving speed. The observable example is an attempted publish stopping at a permission gate with the exact command and target visible. The limitation is permission fatigue. If every harmless read asks for approval, users learn to click yes without reading. The decision: grant low-risk, reversible actions narrowly and make high-risk approval specific. Control 3 is checkpoints. Long agent sessions exploration creates dead ends. A checkpoint gives the workflow a known state before a risky branch. Start from a known commit. After mapping call sites and adding tests, save a clean checkpoint. Then attempt the migration and small coherent changes. If the new client breaks refresh behavior, restore the last safe state without erasing unrelated user work. The use case is recoverability. The observable example is a diff and test receipt attached to each checkpoint. The limitation is false safety. A checkpoint does not make a bad change correct. It only makes retreat possible. The decision: checkpoint after verified milestones, not every keystroke and not only at the end. Control 4 is isolated parallel work. The web app, API, and worker may be separable. Assigning independent scopes can reduce wall clock time. But isolation is mandatory. Use separate branches or work trees. Give each task exact files, constraints, and an output contract. Do not let 3 agents modernize the same shared module simultaneously unless merge conflict performance art is the goal. For this migration, one branch updates the web client, one updates server middleware, and one updates background jobs. The shared authentication contract is changed first and frozen before fan-out. The use case is independent work streams. The observable example is 3 small diffs that merge through one integration branch. The limitation is coordination cost. Parallel work loses when tasks depend on unresolved shared decisions. The decision: parallelize only after the dependency graph is clear. Control 5 is executable verification. The agent saying the migration is complete is not verification. Run tests that fail before the fix and pass afterward. Preserve regression tests that prove unrelated behavior still works. Build the packages. Run static analysis. Inspect the final diff for scope and secrets. For authentication, add cases for valid sessions, expired sessions refresh failure, logout, revoke tokens, and concurrent requests. Then run an end-to-end flow in a disposable environment. The use case is turning a language claim into environmental evidence. The observable example is a failing test becoming green because the implementation changed, followed by the existing suite remaining green. The limitation is test quality. A weak test can approve a wrong implementation with tremendous confidence. The decision: treat tests as a product. Review whether they cover behavior, not merely lines. Now connect the 5 controls. Instructions define the route. Permissions define the boundary. Checkpoints define recovery. Isolation defines safe concurrency. Verification defines completion. Remove one, and a familiar failure appears. Without instructions, the agent edits the wrong layer without permissions. A local task reaches production. Without checkpoints, experimentation becomes hostage negotiation. Without isolation, parallelism corrupts shared state. Without verification, confidence impersonates evidence. These controls also improve speed. The agent asks fewer repetitive questions, can execute safe steps without interruption, recovers quickly, and stops arguing with reality when the test runner has already voted. Before the session begins, create one control sheet. Record the allowed directories, commands that may run automatically, commands requiring approval, checkpoint naming, branch ownership, and mandatory verification. During the migration, compare every proposed action with that sheet. If the agent wants to broaden scope, it must explain why and wait. This turns governance into an observable state instead of a reminder hidden near the top of a long conversation. After completion, audit the receipts. Confirm that instructions were read before edits, no denied command executed. Every checkpoint points to a reproducible revision. Isolated branches touched only assigned paths, and the final test evidence belongs to the final diff. A green test from an earlier revision is stale evidence. Start with a small policy. Document build and test commands. Allow safe workspace actions. Require approval for external consequences. Checkpoint verified milestones. Isolate independent branches. Demand executable proof before completion. Claude Code can be exceptional at reading, changing, and testing software. The model supplies capability. These 5 controls make that capability operational instead of expensive.